Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to Warpaths of Europe and like this video so we can keep bringing you the deepest historical knowledge with real-world value. Let's get straight into a Viking method that has outperformed modern freezers in longevity, reliability and independence from technology. Traditional wind drying. Vikings relied on controlled cold air and wind to dry meat and fish into a stable, long-lasting food source. Viking settlements used their northern climate as a preservation tool. The technique was straightforward. Freshly butchered meat or gutted fish was cut into long strips, hung on wooden racks and exposed to steady cold air and constant wind. The combination pulled moisture out gradually, stopping bacterial growth before it ever began. Unlike freezing, which only slows decay and relies on uninterrupted cold, wind-dried food became shelf-stable. Once the water content dropped low enough, it could last months and even years without spoiling. This method worked because northern winds acted like a natural dehydrator. The cold prevented rot at the early stages, while the airflow kept mold from forming. The result was something the sagas mention frequently: skerpikjøt for mutton, hardfisker for fish, and dried game, widely traded across Norse territories. Properly dried fish was so valuable that it served as a dependable export commodity from Norway to Iceland and the British Isles. The structure of Viking drying racks shows exactly how they engineered the process for maximum efficiency. Drying frames were placed in elevated, windy spots, often on ridgelines or near the coastline. Vikings understood that wind did the work, not heat. Racks were built with space between slats so air could hit every side of the meat. The process required no salt and no smoke, though both could be added when conditions were less ideal. Dried cod, in particular, became so hard and durable that traders carried it across oceans without a hint of decay. This system meant families weren't dependent on fresh catches or slaughter throughout winter. A well-managed drying rack was a food bank. Even if storms, failed hunts, or long voyages disrupted supply, the household still had a reliable protein reserve. Modern freezers preserve food for months, but they require electricity, machinery, and constant cold. Viking wind drying created food that remained edible even if stored in a cloth bag hanging in a barn. You can apply this ancient technique today with just a few simple adjustments that fit modern conditions. Anyone living in a cold, dry, windy region can recreate Viking-style drying racks using untreated wood and stainless hooks. Lean cuts of beef, lamb or fish, dry, best. And, well, it's best to cut the strips thin so airflow can pull moisture out evenly. Protect the setup from insects with a fine mesh and keep it shaded. If you live in a warmer climate, you can still use the principle by creating airflow with fans and relying on colder nights to slow spoilage during the initial stages. For practical survival use, this technique requires no fuel, no electricity, and no storage containers. It produces lightweight protein that can be carried on long treks, stored in cabins and emergency kits, or kept as a dependable off-grid reserve. Subscribe, like, and share this video so we can continue bringing historical methods with real practical value to fellow enthusiasts across the world.